We know who we have coming into town this week. So, Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Talking a little bit about them. Strengths, weaknesses. What do I see initially watching them on tape? Some of the things I think they do really well. I think they are very athletic on defense. When you talk about them and their, D-line, linebackers, secondary, a lot of athleticism, right? Talk about the guys up front. Trevon Walker over there. You obviously got Josh Allen. Very dynamic players. Look at their inside linebackers. Obviously, Devin Lloyd is over there. I'm not going to butcher his name. I'm going to try to say it the best way I can. Foyesade Olukun. Obviously, he's led the league in tackles the past 2 years. Very, very productive player. On the back end, Andre Cisco, a guy that, definitely like, when he was obviously coming out of college and stuff like that. So a lot of athleticism on their defensive side of the ball. I do like that. I think that's a strength for them. Another thing that I think that they have is obviously the highly talented QB, right? Trevor Lawrence, we know, was the all-world prospect. Trank for Trevor was a thing. Caleb Williams is the next version of what Trevor Lawrence was when he was coming out. And you watch him play. He has the big arm, can make every throw. When healthy, you really see him utilize his legs. I thought that was one of the things that really stood out in the Saints game, where you can't play man coverage consistently against him if your rush lanes aren't where they need to be, because he will take off and he can hurt you. So that was another part. Travis Etienne, y'all know I'm a big Travis Etienne fan. This dude can run in between the tackles, could beat y'all in the space, man. Screen game, misdirection game. They want to get him the ball in his hands and just let him make plays, man. A super dynamic player, great vision. Big fan of him. Two other things I think they do well. Their special teams unit, we got to be aware, just because last game they did have a fake punt pass where it was completed, man. Look good. Good execution. When you put stuff like that on tape, as a dude that plays special teams in this league, your antennas go up forever versus a team like that, because unfortunately, you never know when the next fake will be. And it all looks the same until it's not. So we do got to have our antennas up, because we know they at least have shown ability to not just call it, but to actually execute it as well, man, in terms of special teams. And I think the last strength for them is they just believe themselves right now. They believe in themselves. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They haven't lost since, I think it was week 3. They started out 1-2. Went to London, haven't lost since, man. I just think that they're a team that believes. You look at that last game, Saints game, man, you can make a case they should have lost it. But you watch how they just continue to fight, continue to play. It's like, they just believe that they're supposed to win. When they're out there on that field, they just believe somebody's going to make a play. And as a dude that's been a part of teams where you stack multiple performances, multiple wins at a time, you do start to walk into these stadiums and you're just like, it don't matter what happens, we're going to find a way to get out of here. It doesn't matter what the score is early on, we're going to find a way to ultimately get out of this stadium, whether it's special teams, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. All of us are going to do our part. And I just feel like when I watch them, that's one of the big things that kind of shows up with them, man. So, yeah, man, that's, like I said, the strengths that I thought of when I was watching them a couple of times on tape, though, man. You got anything you wanted to tap in with, man, in terms of strengths for this squad?
Yeah, obvious strength is Trevor Lawrence. He is a top 10 quarterback. Where in the top 10? Debatable. 8, 9, 7, wherever. Maybe I'll go through my quarterback rankings more in detail midway through the season. We're almost damn near close to midway through the season. He's around there, though. 7, 8, 9. That's kind of his range.
No, respect.
He's around. He's a damn good quarterback, but that doesn't mean we can't pick him off or make him flustered back there. But you have one of those guys. Now, they do have a bunch of talent surrounding him, but if you got a guy like Trevor Lawrence, your team's going to be relevant for a long time as long as he continues to stay healthy. Jaguars will consistently be in the mix because he's a franchise quarterback. Yeah. He legitimately is.
And he's young too, man. That's the other part.
He's got the physical tools. He can escape the pocket, make any throw you need him to make. Got leadership. Won a national championship in Clemson whenever he was a freshman. So yeah, and he made it through the Urban Meyer era in Jacksonville and is still here as their quarterback. Like, he made it through and he survived it. Even though it wasn't pretty, he didn't have the best record.
That was definitely a time, bro.
He wasn't putting up the best stats, but here he is, and I guess you could say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and he's better for it right now.
Yeah.
I like their offensive weapons. I would say that's their Next strength, I would highlight
Mm-hmm.
Travis Etienne, good running back. He might be top 10 running back at this point.
You know, man, you don't have to sell him to me. I'm an ETN.
The only thing that was missing from him is back-to-back 1,000-yard years.
Right.
Because
He
he
just-
only
he
did
was-
it for one season.
because he was hurt his
He was,
first
yeah,
year.
he was
never
hurt in
had a
his
chance to
rookie
play.
year. So
Yep.
he's so far able to do it again. Hasn't sustained an injury, able to stay healthy. Because that's
Mhm.
one of the questions with him.
Yeah.
Got hurt his rookie year. Has a smaller frame, more of that speedier running back.
Yeah.
You got potential to get hurt again. But he's holding up this season, and credit to him. And then
Mm-hmm.
the receivers, I was going to move on from him, but if we're just talking offensive weapons, you include the receivers, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk. Zay Jones, he's a wide receiver 3. He's a wide receiver 4, but that's what he plays for the Jaguars, so he perfectly fits his role.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, borderline. I'd say each one are like a borderline. They're like Deontay. They have 2 Deontays, I'd say.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk. They're 2 good receivers. Speedy receivers that could keep, I think, our defensive backs off balance. I think for whatever reason that's one of our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And then Evan Ingram, too. I'll even include him. He's
Okay.
a good receiving threat at tight end. Obviously not the best blocker, but that's a good Madden team. Like that's a good team for
Yes.
Madden right there. You got a speedy running back. You got some speedy receivers,
I'm
a
with you.
fast tight end,
Yeah.
a quarterback that has good throw power, could escape the pocket. That's a good Madden offense.
What is Calvin Ridley and what is Christian Kirk to you? Like you called him Deontay. But
Right.
Like, what is that to you? Top 15?
Wide receiver ones.
Wide receiver. Okay. Respect.
Yeah.
Okay.
When either of them's playing really, really good, borderline Pro Bowler.
Respect. Yeah.
Like Calvin Ridley in Atlanta, his best season. Did he make a Pro Bowl? I can't remember, but
I
it
feel
was
like
it was
he
over
did.
1,000
Yeah, I feel
yards.
like
It
he
was
did.
it was
I
a
feel
very
like he
solid
definitely did.
season. And Christian Kirk, I think he had around 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're 2 really good receivers. That's second then on my strengths.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go with the talent on defense with Walker, Josh Allen, Devin Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, but there's nothing that really scares me. I think their front seven's good. I don't think there's anything on the back end that scares me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kenny Pickett could take care of business,
Okay.
passing to Deontay and George
Okay.
Pickens on these guys.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd go with Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker. He's going to be healthy. At least that's what they're saying. He's going to be back this week. Devin Lloyd, good linebacker.
Shout out to Devin. It's what, year 2?
They got good talent on defense. They've been letting up some leads, though, in the second half.
I would agree. Yeah.
And that's what we're known for, is coming back in the second half. So
Uh-oh.
this could actually be set up
Hey
perfectly
now.
to be one of those games where Jaguars, all right,
Hey now.
cool. You get up a little early, but we got Kenny Clutch to close the deal.
That's
And the
what we
defense
need.
is
That's what we
really
need.
going to start clamping down in the third and fourth quarter.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Josh Allen, definitely one of them ones. Definitely one of them ones, man. But for me, when were you finished with the
Yeah,
strengths?
that's good.
You sure?
Yeah, I promise.
All right. Because we ain't give him too much credit now. I don't
What?
like him like that. Don't give him too much credit. We ain't give him too much credit.
That's why.
Don't be
That's
giving
all
too
I
much
wanted to
credit.
really
Don't
talk
give him too much
about.
credit, man.
They got some offensive talent, and they got a couple guys on defense that are good, but nothing that scary. And that's why we're going to go to the weaknesses, right?
Well. It is time to talk weaknesses, Deke. And I'm actually super excited about this because you actually said the first day, man. I think they have a good defense, but it's definitely not scary. I think they have the athleticism, which I talked about. But in terms of as a whole, there is nothing about this defense that makes me feel like, oh my God, Josh Allen is the guy that if I'm Matt Canada and I'm saying, who do I need to game plan around?
How's this defense any better than Baltimore? or
That's what
Cleveland?
I'm saying. Exact. And honestly, I don't think it's better than Baltimore. I don't think it's better than Cleveland. I think that I think they play hard together, and I think that's what gets them out of stadiums along with their offense. But to me, I don't look at them and say, yo, they have a ton of guys that win their one-on-one matchup. I don't look at them and say they have a ton of guys that are just fresh off the bus and going to dominate. I think that scheme and effort is what makes them click. And then because they're able to be opportunistic at times, they'll create turnovers. And you look at that Saints game, it was more of the opportunistic turnover than, them being just super duper locked down. And that's one of the things that I think we can attack. If you don't have them star type of players, that bodes extremely well for our offense, man. When we got a guy that we got to deal with up front, we got a guy that's in the secondary, it's like, all right, that's scary. But they don't really have that. So I do feel like we should be able to take advantage of that. The next thing is their DBs, man. If we're going to be real about it, it ain't a lot of high-end names, high-end talent that makes me...
And their main guy's been banged up.
Exactly.
Tyson Campbell.
Absolutely. He's questionable right now. Like I said, I like Andre Cisco, but he's also questionable right now. So when I think of both of those guys, there isn't a Trey Herndon, makes plays, but I don't feel like that's the guy that we are going to be over here like, oh my God, we got to watch out for Trey. Better watch out for Trey. I don't feel like that about them, man. I do think we'll be able to take advantage of their secondary, especially when you talk about Deontay Johnson's route running, when you talk about George Pickens' big playability. Also, as much as I think this is a benefit for Kenny, I don't necessarily love the matchup this week. But when he drops it off to the running backs in the flat, right? Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, I typically like that. This week, they have very athletic linebackers who actually do that stuff well. I don't think that if you run at them, I don't think they play that well. But I think if you throw the screen pass, you throw the little check down, I think they do that all day. When I look at this team...
Well, we're showing we could be more versatile in offense.
Seriously. When I look at this
we
team...
can run it up the middle with a Jalen Warren. Najee
listen.
Harris just needs to know to go up the middle, don't go outside. And you could run over these linebackers.
He was trying to direct them. He was trying to.
Yeah.
But to me, I look at him, I say, weaknesses, good defense, not scary. DBs are good, not great. Right? It's good players. And as a whole, I think their team physicality is kind of down, bro. I think we should be able to run this ball at them. I think the way you attack this defense is not playing cute finesse. I think you have to actually punch them in the mouth. Because they look to me, I'm like their team is a 7-on-7 team. And what I mean by 7-on-7 is
good Madden team, right?
It's built
good Madden team.
Good Madden team, good 7. It's built to look pretty. It's built to, man, let me throw this rock a little bit. Let me play you in space. It's built to, let me rush the passer and drop into coverage. I got Devin Lloyd. He can run. He's athletic. I got Forsythe. He's athletic. But it's like, man, when you're running at these dudes, man, you see a little bit of a difference. And I thought at times the Saints did attack them like that, but it was just, you get the turnovers. And when you get the turnovers, that changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Weaknesses for the Jaguars. They don't have Kenny Pickett as their quarterback.
Ooh, hey now. I see what you're doing.
They don't have George Pickens as the receiver. And they don't have the decoy on defense.
Hey
TJ
now.
Watt.
Hey now.
Those are my three weaknesses for the Jaguars.
Wow.
It's pretty much that simple.
I like it. You know I like it, bro. I like your style. All right.
And their O-line's not that amazing.
It is not.
And like you mentioned, secondary, I already brought it up in the strengths. I mean, secondary can be beat. Mm-hmm. Nothing scary about their secondary.
Yeah. Nah, I agree with you, bro. Let's go.